All right, guys, I got a fire video for you guys. Please watch the whole thing. Just hear this amazing testimony from this guy when he was rock bottom, down in the dumps, right? And I know that there's somebody out there that has kids, they can't feed them, they have no job, they've just been laid off, or they're trying to get work and they just can't find it. And you're doubting that God can do a miracle for you in your life. Just watch this video, guys. This is so amazing.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but with everything going on right now, the economy, the uncertainty, and even now the SNAP benefits being cut, I just feel like someone needs this reminder. God still provides. You see, about a couple of years ago, I went through one of the hardest seasons of my life. I used to own a restaurant with my family in Waxahachie, Texas. It was called Doña Yaqui, and we were doing great, but something happened within the family. Something painful, and we had to close the business. And being honest with you, sales were never an issue. It wasn't even business, it was betrayal. And for the sake of my wife and kids, we decided to walk away completely. You know how they say that the family tree also needs to be trimmed? Well, let's just say I trimmed my little branch and I planted somewhere else with my family. But unfortunately, that decision left us struggling financially because that restaurant was our only source of income. And I remember one morning, my kids woke up hungry. And when I opened the fridge and pantry, there was only enough food to make breakfast for them, not for me. And as the head of the household, it hit me. As I was cooking them the breakfast, I could feel the panic attack was like getting up to me. And now I didn't want them to see me in that panic attack. So what I decided to do is I finished cooking the meal, I grabbed the dog and I took her out for a walk. And honestly, that morning, I just started talking to God. During that walk, I was literally just talking to him like, God, I wish you could speak to me the way you spoke to the apostles in the Bible. It's like me trying to communicate with him, right? And of course, it wasn't like a voice magically appeared and started talking to me, but I just finished walking the dog and I went up again. I guess within 15 minutes of that happening, I get a phone call from one of my clients. Well, at that moment, she wasn't a client yet, but she was in the process. But she asked me to meet her at her business. And I don't know why, but I feel like I have this gift that when I talk to somebody, even if it's for the first time, they always open up to me about their lives. And that day, we talked, we cried a little bit, we even prayed about her situation. And she had no idea about what I was going through. So at the end, I gave her a hug. And right after the hug, she looks at me and she tells me, Hey, a few days ago, we had a food drive and we still have a bunch of food left. Do you want to take some? In that moment, I knew God was listening. I said yes, all excited. And she gave me a big box of food. I took that box of food, sit in the car and cry. It felt like God was saying, I got you. But that wasn't all. That same evening, she texts me and she's like, Hey, what's your address? I need to bring you something. So she showed up to my house. She looks at me and she's like, Look, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just feel like God put this in my heart. I don't know if you're going through something, if you're struggling, but here. So she handed me a gift card, a Visa gift card for $300, and then two gift cards from Chili's of $25 each so that you can go and take your family out for a dinner. And at that moment, I broke down again, right in front of her. I just gave her a hug, wiped my tears, and I was just so grateful because this time I realized something. When you walk by faith, God uses people as proof that He's still working. And that moment changed everything for me. I decided to trust God completely, and since then, He's never failed me. So now, when people ask me, Julio, how do you afford this lifestyle? How do you travel the country with your family? How do you visit small businesses, make them a few videos, pray over their business, and still not charge them a dime for what you're doing? I just smile and say, honestly, only God knows because He's been the one providing every step of the way. Yes, I run a digital marketing agency, and honestly, that helps us stay on float while we're on the road. But truthfully, every single thing we've built is built on faith, and we're not living full time off our content yet. That's the goal. That's the dream, they say. But whether we get there or not, I already made God a promise that no matter how much we grow, I'll always keep creating these videos and pray over small family owned restaurants for free. So if you ever see one of my videos on your feed, please know that every like, every comment, and every share makes a difference. It helps us keep going. It helps more people find these family owned spots. And it reminds us that we're not walking this journey alone because we believe with all our hearts that God will always provide.
Well, first of all, with that being said, let me smash that like button. But man, how many of you guys know that God is so good and he's so faithful? And people are out here looking and listening for this audible voice to come down from heavens, like, child of mine, this is the Lord, and sometimes he just uses people, like Julio said here. And I understand, guys, that we're in a difficult season. 2025 has been a heck of a year, and 2026 might not be any better, but that's in our strength, that's in our power, and in our understanding. But the Bible tells us to not lean on your own understanding. We got to lean on Jesus. And when this guy decided to go his own route for the betterment of his family, he faced hard times. And as a man, that's a tough feeling. I take care of the bills here, I take care of my wife. And I can only imagine if I wasn't able to provide a stable environment for her to live in, how that would make me feel. If I wasn't able to make her feel safe and cared for, and to where she, because women, man, you see the TikToks or the videos where like the guy's like scoping out the scenery, like making sure everything's okay, and his wife's just over there delulu and la la land, like da 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 da, because she feels safe. That's how I want my wife to feel. And if I can't take care of her, if I can't put food on the table, she's not going to feel that way, right? And so I feel this man's pain when he said like the last of the food went to his children, and then he went on his way, and to go on this walk and start, letting out his emotions and talk to God. And in that moment, God met him with a client that was going to be able to provide some stuff for him in the time that he needed. Now, I also want to focus on how he's doing this content for free as a marketing way to help these small mom and pop businesses uh, get business. And I love the heart in that, right? Because as someone that was in the restaurant industry when his life fell apart, he knows how important this is. And for him to be putting his using his TikTok as a way to spread awareness and give notoriety to these businesses, that's so powerful. Because my wife and I just went to Kansas City to see Brandon Lake a couple weekends ago, and I was like, man, I want some Chinese food. Because where I'm from St. Louis, and I don't care what anyone says, St. Louis has the best Chinese food in all of America, right? And so I was like, we got to find out who's got some good Chinese food up here in Kansas City. And so we got on TikTok and we start looking at the reviews, and everywhere that we saw, we were checking the comments and looking at the food and the appearance of it. And we found a place that was really, really good. Still didn't touch St. Louis Chinese food, but the comments said those exact things. So I knew that I shouldn't go in this restaurant expecting St. Louis style quality Chinese food, but it was still really delicious, and I was so satisfied with it. So for this guy Julio the Foodio to be going around and giving free marketing to mom and pop places, those videos that came across my TikTok are something like this guy's doing. And I can salute that. I can respect that. And I just love how God's using this guy to be a blessing to others when, he can use his platform for anything else. He could be charging out the wazoo, but he's doing this as a blessing. And I really feel like that's why God's using him and blessing him the way that he is, because he's using his platform to be a blessing to others. And I think somebody needs to hear that while you're going through this season and you're uncertain and you wonder why God's not helping you. And I don't mean this to be condemning. What are you doing to try to be a blessing to others in this time? Are you trying to be encouraging? Are you letting the enemy work on you? Are you grumbling like the Israelites did in the wilderness? Are you grumbling? Are you groaning? Are you complaining? Or are you just thanking God? Thank you, Lord, for another day. How can I serve you in this day, Lord? Who do you want me to be a blessing to today? The heart posture says it all, guys. And Israel turned an 11-day journey into 40 years in the wilderness because they wouldn't submit, they wouldn't obey, and they wouldn't stop complaining about their situation that they were in. And I'm not saying that if you're going through this season and you can't feed your kids, that you don't have a right to complain. But having a right to complain and then doing it are two different things, because the Bible says that not all things are, that we have permission to do all things, but not all things are lawful, right? So could you complain? Yes. But could you go out and try and do something about it too? Go to some food banks, make some calls, get on your knees and pray. That's what this guy did. He went out on a prayer walk, and God came through and met him and supplied his needs in that moment. And now he's blessed to be able to go out and travel. And like you said, he's not full time off it yet, but God's still using him in this time, and he's not struggling anymore. His kids aren't going hungry. And that's a beautiful thing. I know, guys, some people can take this personal, if especially if you're struggling. I've been homeless 3 times before, guys, and I've been unemployed for a lot of the years that I was running the streets and doing things. My only income was what I was getting from selling drugs, right? I've been at rock bottom before, and I've had an abundance before. And in all that, I was never content. I was never happy or satisfied with what I had. And now that I'm a child of God and I'm just living my life for the Lord, I have a mediocre blue collar job. I work at a factory, guys, and I don't get paid bukus of money. But the amount of money that I make is enough to pay my bills. It's enough to take care of my wife, and it's enough to put some up for my retirement. So that's really all that matters to me right now. I'm content. God's providing, and I get to sit here and make these YouTube videos and tell everybody about Jesus with this amazing platform that God has blessed me with. And I'm so thankful for that, because I could be out there doing a whole bunch of other senseless stuff that doesn't impact anybody in a positive way. But yet I get to turn on this camera, tell you guys about Jesus, and just try to be the biggest blessing that I can be with the voice that I have. And I encourage any of you that are going through a struggle, a season where you just feel uncertain, to just call on the Lord. Ask Him how you can be used by Him to give Him glory. That's going to do it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.